So to have your greatest fear realized of a very large audience and on a very public scale is not pleasant, to say the least, especially when you are young. I was 16. You know, I was a very, like I said, I was a very insecure kid as it was, and I was a teenager. So we all know what it's like to be a teenager on top of that. So I was a hugely insecure person. I was a teenager, and I just kind of, my greatest fear had just happened on such a hugely public scale. It was just unimaginable to me, and it took me a long time to deal with it. But that's actually not the time that the press turned against me. Everyone was actually very sympathetic. I think it was just such a shock, and I kind of bounced back the next year and didn't really lose any races again the next year. So like it wasn't a huge blip. I mean, for me personally, it was obviously had a huge effect on my already quite shaky mental state. The media actually turned on me a couple of years later, and I think that was probably even worse than the original loss, just because it almost becomes, and I think a lot of sports people will relate to this, like, or just anybody that is very passionate about something that they do, it becomes you and who you are. And that's something that took me a long time to figure out, was separating myself and my identity from the sport itself. So when the media turned on me, that felt like a very, very personal attack. And it was just after I didn't make the Olympic team. So I was already, you know, dealing with not making a home Olympic team, which I'd been kind of pitted as one of the people to watch in the build-up. And then for everyone to kind of turn on me at the same time, like, it was a really lonely experience, honestly. It kind of just felt like the whole world was against me, and it was only me that had to deal with that. So it was rough for sure during that period of time, about both myself and sport in general, and huge amount. And now looking back, I'm hugely grateful for it. Yeah, I feel for my younger self for sure. I definitely feel for her. But like I said, I learned a huge amount from that experience. So I'm grateful for it.
You know, for those listening and for those tuning in, like, you know, this is coming from someone who had a very tremendous amount of success from early, and, you know, had all these things going for her and all these things going well. And it's that notion of understanding that life is not this thing that just goes straight up and down all the time. Like, at some point you're going to come down, but it's like, how do you pick yourself up, and how do you find a way to gain back that confidence and that enthusiasm to believe in yourself, to see what you can do moving forward. And
Yep.
I think that literally says a lot about obviously where you are now and what you've been able to accomplish in these past couple of years. But how important has it been to you to have people around you that believe in you? You know, sometimes we hear these cliche statements, right? Like, you know, hard work pays off, and you got to have good people in your corner, and these,
Yeah.
and, you know, and these things we hear all of the time. But there's a reason why it's a cliche statement, because it's often the real facts. And so, how did, even now, like, how did you start your journey to, one, self-discovery of realizing that track is not the all and end all, and having the taking a leap of faith to say, you know what, I think there's more here, but I may have to go elsewhere to see where else my potential can be?
Yeah. I mean, to your first point, like, having people around you that are genuinely in your corner for you, not just for track you or whatever you it is, like genuinely for you as a person, is so important. Because I think my personal experience, and I think a lot of young people in the sports experiences, like, you have people that latch onto you due to your success, and that's the only reason that they're there. And I think, you know, those low times definitely show you who's really in your corner and who really has your back as an actual person. So it's hugely important to have those people in your corner who, you know, love and care for you regardless of whether you're succeeding or not. And then, yeah, I think my journey to I had to rediscover myself. Not even rediscover, I had to discover myself. You'll probably have heard throughout this talk, like, I never really had any time as just Jodie. Like, my life young was very much towards doing, achieving. So that kind of became my marker of success, was just constant. If I wasn't achieving, it wasn't just like small scale achieving. If I wasn't achieving and if I wasn't the absolute best at something or doing something that nobody ever done before, to me, you know, my self-worth went down. So I had to unlearn those very unhealthy patterns. And it took me a long time. You know, I had to find other things that I was genuinely passionate about, discover me, really get to know me. And I moved across the world, moved to the US.
Literally.
Yeah, I literally moved across the world. This was after a couple more years of just things just not working. Like, it was just injury after injury. Things were getting really bad. The press around me was getting really negative, and I was just in a really horrible headspace. So I was just like, you know what? Like, I need not a fresh start, but I need just a new perspective on things. So I literally moved across the world, and at 22, and just kind of started this journey of just discovering me and getting to know me. And yeah, I found a lot of things. I'm a very passionate person. So I found a lot of other things that I'm genuinely interested in and genuinely passionate about. And it just kind of means that, you know, I'm not completely tunnel visioned, or I'm not completely just, as much as, you know, sport is something that is all encompassing, you can get lost in there. You need to know that you have other avenues I'm a very creative person. So I found some, you know, creative avenues to just, you know, let off steam. I can't, if track wasn't going so well, or I was injured, or, you know, I just needed a bit of headspace, I found other avenues to channel my energy into. And that saved me, honestly. It meant that, you know, as much as the blows are still huge to me, I still take track very personally and very seriously. That's just kind of who I am. So I definitely still take my losses very, very deeply. But it's now enabled me not to just completely break down now and lose that value within myself. You know, I take it hardly, but, you know, I now have other things going on and other things that I know that I'm passionate about and that I know I've got going for me. So yeah, it was a long journey. It was still going. Don't think it ever ends. But yeah, I'm grateful that I've had all of those experiences and really had time to just take a step back and yeah, find out what Jodie actually likes, aside from just being this athlete.